executive order in 2024 to promote reconciliation to include freedmen in tribal affairs.
Yeah, but to be honest, that junk BS because they're only trying to say that, oh well, like we had y'all as like slaves. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me finish. We were a part of all of these tribes. We were these tribes. We did not start off black and then all of a sudden turn into Indian. We were Indian.
I'm just gonna break this drop down real quick. Let me show you something you can appropriate real quick, man. You see this right here? This is the sacred geometry shape of Mayak.
Wait, why you keep dropping me down? Why you keep dropping me down?
By accident, he dropped it. More than one person dropped. He was trying to do something on the screen, and it dropped a couple.
Why y'all doing that to me? I just wanted to land my plane.
Go ahead, land your plane.
Go ahead. We did not start off.
Nobody does that. When they try to switch the screen, it does that. It doesn't. Nobody.
Yeah, it happens to all of us. So just go ahead and land, Love Jones.
I've never been here. I'm sorry, and I was
talk. Okay, go ahead.
So before we were Black Americans, we were Indian. And then after that, we were mulatto. And then after that, we were Negro. And then after that, we were Black. And then after that, we were African American. And present day, we're Black. And then present day, we're Indian and Indigenous. And we're reclaiming ourselves. But before all of that, literally, we were a part of tribes. And they stripped that away from us. They brought over Asiatic-looking people and indoctrinated them into schools. J.P. Morgan Chase, he staged a coup and did a photo shoot and made those types of people that came over through Ellis Island to look like what an Indian was, and they look exactly like the people in Russia and in Siberia. We literally were always here. We were always the indigenous people. They keep reclassifying us because they know who we really are. And that's why I don't like to go back to slavery. I'm like, look, let's go to the early 1900s. How the hell did Madam C.J. Walker be the first millionaire in the whole world? How did Sarah Rector have land with oil? She was 12 years old in the early 1900s. How did we have all of this land? How would we amass all of this when we were literally illiterate and couldn't read and we was getting whipped?
Right, but that's why we're trying to break it down now, right? So that we can answer those questions. So let's get into a little bit deeper.
I'm a little curious why he would bring Russians over and take pictures to make it seem like that's who he's on.
Wait, you know what? Can I answer?
I just want to correct it a little bit. So it wasn't just Russians. Some of y'all came ahead of time in the early 1400s because you all, the ones who were, I guess, let me just put it this way, and I don't say this as an offensive term, allegedly, the Mongols had got overthrown by the Turkish horde. And when that happened, a lot of you guys fled there and came here, which is why a lot of you all were in Alaska and Alaska and Canada and stuff when the colonizers got over here in the first place, because you all had just recently, some decades before they got there, some was still coming over during that time because you all had got overthrown by the Turkish horde. But also, the other thing that I was going to say with the whole freedman thing, So the freedmen thing is BS because most of our people were not their slaves, were never their slaves. It was the whole thing with them. That's what I was going to say. Oh, some of those people that came over, they took the pictures of them and stuff. If you guys look it up, those people are considered the nickel bars. When they were doing the Asian trade, those people are the nickel bars. They are also from Southeast Asia. They're the only Southeast Asians that's considered indigenous that have long straight hair. All the rest of the Southeast Asians that's indigenous look like us. So they got ones because they've already written in history that the people of the Americas look the most like the Malays and look like the this and that. And when they say Orient, they're talking about original. Orient back then meant original, not Oriental Asians. That's not what that meant. But because they already written in history of who the Americans look the most like, they had to find a way to keep the story going because all of this was about land theft. It was about a land grab. So when they went and got the nickel bars because the nickel bars fit the closest to the things that they put in history because some of them were here. Some of them were okay, most of them wasn't. So they got them, did the photo shoot, made sure it was these people. These people were the ones that they had in picture. Yes, those people. And some of those people are still over there to this day in their indigenous land in Southeast Asia.
Don't forget to mention Walter Plecker.
No, wait. No, certain things
Walter Plecker too.
They were doing this before Walter Plecker. They had already come up with a plan to steal our land legally. Everybody played their part in making the deal with the devil. They had already had a plan way ahead of time. This was a plan over 100 years in the making of finding a way to reclassify us and doing a switcheroo. With the freedmen, the so-called freedmen, those were not their slaves. Those were never their slaves. Majority of them were never, ever slaves. Those people were the ones that they hand-selected because they were some of the richest ones. Why? Because of the fact, I'm not going to say that part. I'm going to save that for the Discord. But they picked them because of the fact that they needed certain things from them, and they did certain things to steal their land as well by reclassifying them as freedmen, even though they have admitted and they knew they were not slaves. They put them in as freedmen anyway to do the final nail on the coffin to erase our people. I'm not going to give too much. I'm gonna let the classroom decide and the host decide how much I give or hear about that, but I'm gonna let Earth
you're right.
Sorry, if I can just say, a lot of those historical pictures that we see that will, quote unquote historical pictures, all of those are the Buffalo Bill pictures. Those are the pictures that were taken. I forget what the photographer's name, but they intentionally put a lot of these people into costume and took thousands of pictures.
Yes.
And put them in the historical annals. Those were not the real pictures, not how they dressed. They were giving those things to dress that way. So a lot of the pictures that we see...
And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to land. We were already established. The oldest building, I think it was in, I can't remember the state, but it was in 1655, was the oldest constructural building in the North America. Look it up. It was a stone brick building. We were not in horse and buggies. They lied. We were not in horse and buggies. We had technology. We had literal everything that you could think of before they came here. We had everything. We literally had stone structures. We had technology. We had infrastructures. We had factories. We had all sorts of things before they came and colonized and claimed that we were all slaves in the 19 whatever. There were already infrastructures in America. Right. They don't want us to know that because they want to think that we were primitive like in Africa.
The Africans. No,
we're not primitive like Africans. We literally had infrastructures. We had already built doors. We had already had like irrigation systems. We did all of the things that they did in Spain. I'm not saying we're Moors. Moors, they say that they Dark Ages, they built them, they taught them how to wash their ass. We had already had that. That was already happening. in North America, babe. It was already happening.
Let's let, because y'all got to start landing. When we got a large crowd, we got to land so that other people can get in and keep the conversation exciting, right? Keep the conversation going. We understand. We're trying to get to more in-depth information right now, right? So that we kind of understand exactly what happened in detail, right? So go ahead, Earth. Were you trying to say something?
I'm kind of saying now that we understand.
Hold on. She said Earth. Hold on.
Y'all.
Go ahead. What you say?
Like because y'all got some good perspectives, and but to delve a little deeper into the histories of the Americas, you need to take it back to the beginning, because that's what happens. We get caught up in the 1500s when they got here and stuff. But we had a whole history way before, millions of years before they even got here. So we kind of need to tap into that history and what was that history, before they came here and blanketed this new history, Bering Strait theories and all of these different theories all over the place. You see, and this is the sacred geometry shape of Maya. This is the Maya language, which was passed down through the Olmec people. We know that for a fact. So this is the sacred geometry shape of Maya. As you can see here, here's the word. You spell it today, Mayach. You see here, it says the land just sprung. It also means the land of the shoots, or the first lands that rose from the bosom of the deep. And as you can see here, this right here shows the earth, right? It shows the earth as a seed. And it shows the shoot. That's why it was called the land of the shoot, because it means the shoot of the plant, meaning the beginning of the plant. You see? There ain't no other lands. There's only these lands. As you can see here, this right here depicts the Yucatan Peninsula. Let me show you that receipt so people don't think that I'm just making this stuff up as I go along. Let me show you that document. First, I'll show you the Maya language. This right here is a document that shows the similarities between the Maya language and the Egyptian language. As you can see here, we're looking at this shape right here. I can barely see what I'm getting out the way. Let me get over here. We're looking at that shape right there. See that with the M? This is the sacred geometry shape of Ma. You see? I'm going to show you why it's that shape. Right now. All right, let me get out the way so y'all can screenshot that, because you're probably not going to find that nowhere else. So you see here the sacred geometry shape of Ma. You can see a little better now. There it is right here. That's the sacred geometry shape of Ma. Let me show you the fitting of that. They made that shape to depict Ma. This is the motherland. So I'm going to show you. This is Ma. There is no other place on earth called Ma. Here, right? This little swirly cube looking thing, that right there it denotes volcanic forces came out of the earth. That's what it's saying. This little swirling dervish. You also see that in the serpent mound. You see in the tail of the serpent mound, you see that little swirly like that. There's a little crater here that they turned into the dinosaurs. They said that the dinosaurs went extinct with that. That's a volcano. That ain't no damn meteor strike. You see what I'm saying? And here's the story of the Maya talking about that crater. So, but let's focus on this sacred geometry shape and where it's located in the Yucatan Peninsula, right? So now let's go back to this image of Maya, right? Now you starting to get a good grasp about what you're looking at when you come to the language of the Maya, right? You see right here. Now you can see that Ma pops out the earth, and these little round things right there are imixes. They're called imixes. They're the breast of the planet. You see two breasts and the sacred geometry shape of Ma. We just seen the Yucatan Peninsula and the two breasts of the planet. I'll show you. Pop out the inner Earth. As you can see here by this map, you see the sacred geometry shape of Ma right there, the Yucatan Peninsula, and the two breasts of the planet pop out the Earth. You see, as the land of the Shup, or the first lands that rose from the bosom of the deep. There is no Africa. There is no Asia. There is no other land masses. You see, so for people to say that we migrated here from another landmass means that you don't know the true histories of the Americas. By the way, we were not at that time. At that time, we were not, as a race of people, women and men, we were not here. There was a whole other race of giants that lived on the planet before we got here. They created these bodies. That's the real stories. That's the real stories. And they're not some mythologies. The mounds, the giants are buried, and we had 1 million mounds in North America. So, and around the world, they found giants in Europe with corn, with crowns of corn on their head. I have many documents. Thank you for the gift, y'all. But this is the real story. So for millions of years, as these giants cultivated these lands, because they did not just come like this, we have 250,000 rivers in North America, 8,500 rivers in Canada, the largest fresh watershed on the planet in South America. Redwoods came all the way from here to here. All kinds of beautiful things in the Americas. So these lands were built like this. They didn't just come like that. Because if they just came like that, then Africa would be like that. Asia would be like that. But they're not. They're not. So it shows how much work and what kind of antiquity we have in these lands, the motherlands. And that's why all these other groups from all around the world come here and they fight us over these lands. Yep. And they want to claim indigeneity to these motherlands because these are the most beautiful lands on the planet, and they do not want to be disenfranchised in the way that they are disenfranchising the actual royal aboriginal bloodlines to here. I land my plane. Oh, you know, actually, let me add one more document to that, because the Egyptians even say it themselves. I want to be clear. Let's be very clear
Tap
here.
the screen, y'all. Tap the 80K. Let's tap it up. Thank you all for being here. Grand rising to the family. Make sure you send your heart me, send your gifts, send the Go Popular. Let's try to stay in the algorithm.
The Egyptians said themselves. Can y'all read that?
No, it's blurry.
Nobody can see that?
Tiny.
It is tiny. But it basically it says the Maya sages doubtlessly came to the same conclusion, since they called their country Maya. That means the land that first rose from the bosom of the deep. You see, the land of the Shup. You see that? It says that the Egyptians boasted that their ancestors in the lands of the West are the oldest men on earth. Straight there. So you might want to screenshot that, zoom it in, and get it fitted for your situation, because this right here says that even the people over in Egypt knew that we were the progenitor of their language and everything. So
OG just said that a real Native American, because that's another thing. Just because someone sits up here and names a tribe, that doesn't mean that they are not the original people who were here. I think them people are long gone.
I have them documents too to prove that they were taking the. I have those documents.
Yeah, you can tell they're not even real. I get the message every time they start talking. I can tell that this is not even an authentic person. We're doing all this and talking to these people who are triggered because they don't even really see where they fit into the equation. They're cosplaying and they're culturally assimilating a group that's culturally assimilating us. Clock that.
And I want to bring up the fact that a lot of people talk about slavery and how it was. Like I said, I have my uncle here. I've talked to him several times as far as when they're saying that it was forced. And it wasn't forced. It was either something like it was a farm or you had to go to school. If y'all want to hear him, I can put him on right now. He literally talked about picking in the cotton fields and how they try to make it seem like we were just enslaved and we had to do something. No, we were basically having our own farms, our own crops, and we were selling to them to be able to live.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Hold on.
I'm going to land my plane right now, and I'm going to let you go ahead and have it. I'm going to get out the way. This right here shows the document how they took the names of the Indian tribes and then started calling them their lodges Choctaw and all of that. This right here shows who did it. Let me get out the way so y'all can screenshot this document. This is the full document so you can see that literally says it. It says it. The Know Nothings.
So where did the languages come from?
The languages of the Americas, all languages come from
of the Native Americans of the different tribes.
Written by Caucasian
because people. Different tribes had different languages. So where did that come from? They were written
by Caucasians. The Navajo was written by Robert W. Young. That's who wrote the Navajo language. That's a Caucasian man. Period. Like those languages were written from pre-existing languages that were already existed on the planet. It's not like those are some, you're using letters from this alphabet. They're not many
different tribes. The Europeans came and just made a bunch of different languages.
I have the document. Let me just show you. Let me show you this document real quick.
That's what he said.
I'm gonna answer you.
And many of them have Asian.
Let me answer. You see right here, the Know Nothings. The Native Americans are the Know Nothing political movement. That's who they really are. That's who they really are. This right here shows the Know Nothings, right? Were called that because they would play dumb when they were asked about their organizations. These natives, right? Right here.
Natives.
Natives, right? Yeah, they considered themselves Native Americans, right here. They considered themselves Native Americans. Now I'm going to show you how they took that. They would knock off the tribes and then become them. Like they knocked off the tribe in New York, central New York, called this. When they knocked off, they burnt down Seneca Village. That was the Seneca tribe. Then they took that, migrated the couple people that they captured while they was doing that up in there. They put a whole bunch of Asians in there and then said, this is the Seneca tribe. They were doing that, literally.
Exactly. They made people forget where they came from. Look, they made people forget where they came from. They took children out of their homes.
They were taking the Seneca tribe as white people, though. They say black people. But they're the Aboriginals that you burnt down their town like you did in every other city. Burnt down the town, flooded it, or whatever.
Yeah. The real Seneca tribe is under Central Park.
You see right here, right, and then turned it into Central Park, and then called yourself the Seneca tribe, and try to act like these people were primitive, doing this. Now, these people built the city of New York. So, see right here, in the 1850s, gentlemen and thugs alike joined the Know Nothing in droves. These natives took the name of the Indian tribes, calling themselves Choctaw, Chickasaws, and all of that. But you're not any of those things because the Know Nothing are the people who took over the government and then started giving themselves, reclassified the Aboriginal to black people, then start giving yourselves the benefits that you were supposed to give us. That's exactly what you did. Now I'm going to show you for a fact that Native American people are Caucasians. I'm going to show you the actual document that says it. It says that they were stopping the Aboriginal people that they reclassified to Negro. As you can see here, here's that document right here, Albany, New York, where you're disenfranchising the Seneca people. Right here. Look, Albany, New York. Upholding a lower court's decision, New York State Court of Appeals ruled that the Railway Mail Association violated state law by by barring Negro. Now you call them Negroes. These are the Aboriginal people. You see? So you're barring them from having jobs in the city, from membership. The ruling came in a case brought by the RMA after the New York City ranch allowed Aboriginal peoples to join. A clause in the International Union's Constitution limits membership to members of the Caucasian race of Native American Indians. There you go.
Where you go?
So like I said, I have my uncle here. He can give y'all a little bit about what happened as far as like picking cotton and if they was forced or not.
Hold on, Loyalty.
We know it was a job. A lot of people own those plantations. They pick cotton. They own those. She ran up out of here, y'all. All that shit was smoking.
As she should.
Earth gave too much truth.
Good. Put the prompt back up, crew. What happened, sis?
What up, Fadi, yo?
Oh, Fadi? Oh, that's right. What happened to the good sis? Why you leave? That tickles me.
Copper.
And everyone grandmas. So enough was going to give her another little tidbit on, you know, when she talking about some older thousands of labor.
Josh, are you?
So she didn't hear anything I said.
You're lying though.
Lying about what?
We just had a girl come up here and tell us.
So now you're going to single out one person when I just said the people that come on our panel. You just want to argue. It's okay. Go ahead.
That's you every day.
We do too. What are you saying?
Every day.
What are you saying? Right, because you're not saying nothing that I just said, Kentucky. You just yelling.
Oh my God,
I do think that people that are born, like if you are born here and you have two African parents, you probably are going to identify more as like an African American.
Thank you, and they do. That's what I'm saying.
And not even that, Josh. They say they're African still.
Right. Who you trying to argue with, Kentucky? Because it's like you trying to be right about everything for no reason.
No, that's you. Everybody knows that's you. That's not me.
What did I say I was right
knows
about?
That's not me. I don't lie.
Oh, well, I'm not mixed. I don't lie neither. What am I mixed with?
You don't have to be mixed.
So what did you say? Anything about being mixed? You sound very like discombobulated right now for no reason.
Baby.
You sound very stressed out for no reason, Kentucky. So if you want to argue with somebody, go pick somebody else. Because I'm not trying to argue with you.
Well, quit arguing with me then.
No, you're arguing with yourself.
I'm not even talking to you.
You was just talking to me.
I was not talking to you.
You literally was just talking to me.
I said, no, because you said, Kentucky, we're not talking about your husband. I said,
all right, y'all. If y'all can hear me, I got to go because my class about to start. Everyone have a good day. Talk to y'all.